You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now it's 7. Winter is coming quickly. We'll hear how homeless shelters in Oklahoma are getting ready.
Plus, Sacred Heart Church hosted its 74th annual turkey dinner. We'll hear residents' thoughts on the dinner.
And we've got ourselves a relatively warm and another breezy day across the 4 states. Talk about that forecast. Get you out the door. Coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. Just after 7 a.m. on this Monday morning in the 4 states. I hope everybody remembered to set their clocks back an hour.
I think they did. If not, they found out. They learned a hard lesson.
They did. They probably woke up and they're like, well, where's the KOAM Morning News? I don't see it right now. Well, that's because
gotta wait an hour.
Yep, gotta wait an extra hour out there, but you got an extra hour of sleep. Did it come in handy?
It did, of course. Feeling refreshed.
Are you sure?
Absolutely, Chris.
I can't tell for sure. I think this is just, the game face. It's your poker face because I don't fully believe you.
Well, I'll tell you, it's cold, it's winter time, and I'll tell you, the winter months are quickly approaching, and some Oklahoma homeless shelters are preparing. Reporter Michaela Glenn Roberts reports.
The Tulsa Day Center, John 3:16 Mission, and the Salvation Army all work together to make sure no one is left out in the cold. They try to make sure their clients can survive the cold and beyond. The Tulsa Day Center says it can house up to 400 clients during the day and provide beds for 100 clients at night, which is crucial when the temperature drops. It works with other shelters downtown to get people off the streets and into a safe place. John 3:16 is currently at capacity, but are rearranging beds to fit more people. The director of guest services says they love the population they serve and they want to help as many people as possible. The Salvation Army says it can accept an overflow of 40 people when temperatures reach below 33 degrees. Noe Rodriguez with the Day Center says this cold snap has brought in more clients than usual.
During inclement weather, we will we'll let all clients come in and get out of the cold. We want them to feel safe, and Oklahoma weather, it can get bitter, deathly cold, and so we're allowing clients to come in and get reprieve from the weather inside.
See, it is cold, Chris. I told you.
It's definitely getting there, and it's, of course, important to get the shelters ready because cold weather will be here before you know it across the area. Now, right now, certainly doesn't feel like it. I mean, it feels like it in here. We talked about this because of all the lights, all the stuff. But outside, it wasn't that bad. Yeah.
It really wasn't.
It's freezing in here, but it's pretty decent outside. Well above where we should be, though, for this time of year. Quick look outside with our camera on top of the Cornell Complex in downtown Joplin. Got a few clouds out there. Otherwise, not a bad start to the day. You can see bright skies from the MoDOT camera, 20th and range line in Joplin as well. Quick look at temperatures, 61 Joplin, 60 in Pittsburgh, and bear in mind the low 60s are where our normal highs are supposed to be for this time of year. So yeah, we're not anywhere near where we're supposed to be, but that's going to change later this week. As for today, though, highs mid-upper 70s. Of course, some of our friends out west could reach 80 or maybe even 81 degrees out there. First real long full week of November, and we're talking about temperatures pushing near 80. Partly to mostly cloudy skies and gusty south winds pushing around 25 miles an hour. But as I mentioned, normal temperatures are on the way, and they're going to be here soon. How soon? You got to stay tuned for your full forecast, and that's coming up here in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Well, 2 people are dead after being hit by a train on a trestle bridge in Jasper County. It happened around 2:15 yesterday afternoon on the bridge over Center Creek. Authorities say the train saw the 2 men, 24-year-old Dakota Brittner and 39-year-old Terry Long, and blew its horn to warn them before hitting them. Bittner and Long are both from the local area. Authorities respond to a crash at the intersection of Highway 69 and 4th Street in Pittsburgh. The crash occurred around 5 p.m. Saturday when a vehicle was crossing the 4-way intersection. Another driver in a separate vehicle ran a red light and collided with the oncoming vehicle, causing it to overturn. Authorities say there were no serious injuries. Chanute High School's band and student government held a mattress fundraiser. Custom Fundraising Solutions of Wichita provided the mattresses and proceeds, which are split between the 2 departments based on student shout-outs from visitors. The band plans to use the money to buy and prepare equipment, while the government will use the money to host school-wide events.
We have the students and their families are in charge of getting the word out to advertise the event. Our company handles all of the sales and the product from the fundraiser, and we work directly with each customer. But the students, their families, and the school, their responsibility is to advertise and promote the event to let the community know that we're here.
Custom Fundraising Solutions of Wichita has raised over $500,000 for local Kansas schools. In honor of Native American Heritage Month, the Pittsburgh Public Library hosted a Land of Stories program for the community. Darcy Schultz, a citizen of the Peoria Tribe of Indians in Oklahoma, shared a variety of native stories while highlighting indigenous authors.
We are still here. So that's sort of a phrase that's kind of common. Tracy Sorrell wrote a book, a children's picture book called We Are Still Here. We are in this space and we are taking back that culture and relearning everything that was kind of lost, you know. That's my story.
The program was open to the public and began at 2 yesterday afternoon. Local racers took to the track yesterday at Mocan Dragway for Sunday Fun Drags. The day featured various races, including motorcycle, trucks, and car races. Gates opened at noon and races began at 1 p.m.
I hope it'll run a high 6 or a low 7. The car's all metal, got all glass in it. It's never been down the track. I haven't seen any competition yet. I just got here.
Admission to race at the drag event was $10. Sacred Heart Church Saturday hosted its 74th annual turkey dinner. Attendees were treated to the Thanksgiving feast after service. This year they served turkey, green beans, dressing, mashed potatoes, and a roll along with your choice of dessert. It included a silent auction, a country store, and take-home plates.
And it's really great just to see, you know, other people coming to help other people. I've had people say, you know, this is such a nice thing during the weekend to not have to cook.
You know, they come once and they feel like, you know, it's amazing and they get a lot of food and, you know, they want to come back. They're looking forward to coming back.
Tickets were $10 for adults and $5 for children. And up next, we all have seen pumpkins and probably have them for decorations, but what do we do with them once the holidays are over? Stay tuned to see what you can do with your leftover pumpkin. And later, most of us were probably excited to gain an hour of sleep over the weekend. We will hear the good and the bad effects of changing 1 hour of sleep after this. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. And Health Watch this morning, providing care for older loved ones might be taking a financial toll on some adults. A new report by the University of Pennsylvania School of Nursing and the TIAA Institute says 1 in 5 adults are providing uncompensated care to their aging family members who are dealing with health issues. This is leading to caregivers facing financial challenges. The report says on average, caregivers are spending more than $7,000 a year to provide transportation, housing, and health care. But they are not being reimbursed for these expenses. The report adds some adults are forced to rely on their savings, add debt, or delay bill payments to make sure their aging loved ones are taken care of. And working out can have more benefits than you thought. Besides its physical and mental benefits, new research shows exercise can help you ease aging. Researchers from Iowa analyzed the responses from the people from Iowa, Washington, D.C., South Dakota, Maryland, Rhode Island, and other states. Analysts reviewed participants' responses to several questions regarding anxiety and how they felt about aging. They found that having a positive view of exercise can help facilitate the aging process, helping people adapt better to lifestyle changes. The team also noted women between the ages of 40 and 49 were more worried about their appearance than men in the same group. The study was published in the journal Physical Activity and Health. And if you forgot to set your clocks back an hour yesterday, this is your reminder. But the question on many people's minds is why we still do this twice a year. And many in Washington feel the same way. Fox News correspondent Christina Coleman has more.
Millions of Americans saw their clocks fall back overnight. The extra hour of sleep can leave some of us feeling well rested, while others might feel disrupted or fatigued by the change.
You gotta keep changing your clock on your car. I hate doing that.
Scientists say it affects us both physically and mentally.
Learning, memory, executive functioning, multitasking, for example, which you can normally maybe do, that could be impacted during this transition.
Right now, we're in what's called standard time. The drawback is that the sun sets much earlier, leaving many to do their evening routines in darkness.
It may be a little darker earlier, but you're getting more light in the morning and throughout the day. And in fact, under standard time, you get many more days of daylight.
Springing forward is definitely the less popular of the two time shifts.
I really like it when it drops back an hour and we get an extra hour of sleep, but when I have to wake up an hour early, I'm not too excited about that.
And some lawmakers agree. In the past 6 years, 19 states have made efforts to move to year-round daylight saving time. The Sunshine Protection Act passed the Senate last year, but stalled in the House.
This is not the most important issue before the Republic, but I do think people wonder, why do we keep doing this flipping back and forth on the time?
Many say that ending the time changes is a good thing. The disagreement is over which one we should switch to permanently, standard or daylight saving. Many doctors say standard is better for our health, with the extra light in the morning setting us up for better sleep cycles. Christina Coleman, Fox News.
And we have got ourselves a warm and breezy day. We've got some clouds out there. We're looking at being partly to mostly cloudy as we head through the afternoon hours. I'll talk about how warm it's going to get and when we'll eventually return to normal here in just a few minutes. And coming up, we're going to be talking about the Eyes of Freedom Traveling Memorial. Make sure you stay tuned for that. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:16, almost 7:17 on this Monday morning. Taking a live look from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex in downtown Joplin. We do have some clouds out there. You can see a few more off to the north, and we're going to be partly to mostly cloudy as we go through the day today. MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line in Joplin, getting some sunshine out there, but you see how the sunshine is a little muted. Well, that's because of some of those high clouds, and we got some sunshine, albeit again a bit muted, over from the KDOT camera at 69 East 520th Avenue. That, of course, just south of Pittsburgh, Kansas. Our camera, 7th and Range Line. You can see some of those clouds off in the horizon. 61 in Joplin. South breeze at 11. Now remember, our average high this time of year is the low 60s. So that's how much warmer we are already than what we're supposed to be. We got 54 Sedan, 56 Yates Center, 55 in Iola, 57 Neodesha Parsons, 60 in Chetopa, 63 Miami, 60 Pittsburgh Lamar, and a group of 61s, Fort Scott, Nevada, Carthage, and Neosho. And as we get our morning started, again, initially mostly clear skies, and then the clouds begin to increase as we head into the afternoon hours. And winds will increase as well as we go through the morning, gusting out of the south at around 25 miles an hour, right around 70 by 11. Heading into the afternoon, temperatures, again, well above normal to the tune of 10 to 15 degrees as we go mid-upper 70s across the area. Partly cloudy skies, breezy, and of course some of our friends along and west of 75 could push closer to 80, maybe even 81. First full week of November, we're talking temperatures in the 80s. That's how warm it is. Staying mild again this evening. Winds calm down a bit, though. Partly cloudy skies falling back into the low 60s for our overnight lows. We're warm again tomorrow, and we're breezy again tomorrow as we go upper 70s, near 80. And Tuesday and Wednesday, by the way, parts of southeast Kansas, again, really west of 75, could make it into the low 80s. And then we're going to get a shock to the system. We got rain chances as we head into Thursday morning, and then our temperatures are going to be much cooler, but they're going to be right where they should be. It's just going to feel a lot colder out there as they fall back low to mid 60s. Great weekend ahead of us, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And of course, our overnight lows are going to feel downright cold compared to where they've been. But again, they'll be right where they're supposed to be as we fall back in the low to mid 40s. And as we head into the start of next week, temperatures will begin to rise again, and they'll go just a pinch above average, but not significantly so. So we go back into the mid-upper 60s out there next week, and then of course we'll allow our overnight lows to warm up just a wee bit as well, going back into the upper 40s and lower 50s across the area. So do be prepared for that. Hopefully you remembered to set your clocks back an hour, because we all earned that extra hour of sleep after those 40-degree high temperatures last week, and now we're suddenly really warm, and then eventually we might experience fall for a little bit across the area, which would be a rare phenomenon here in the 4 states to get more than 2 seasons. Speaking of seasonal things, pumpkins are a common fall decoration. But what exactly do we do with them after we're done with those things? Well, Barrette Leon shares with us some ideas for our favorite orange gourds.
This whole field, this whole plot was just like full of pumpkins.
It's been a great year for John Toole and the Horticulture Research Center.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful season.
But as the chill seeps in and Halloween passes,
We started thinking about, well, what should we do with the leftover pumpkins, right?
Toole says part of their leftover crop goes toward animal enrichment at the Como Zoo. It's not an option for everyone, but the idea can be applied to any local farm or even a neighbor with chickens. Regular pumpkins can be used as a food source for squirrels, birds, and deer in your backyard. And some gourds can even double as a birdhouse.
After it's been used decoratively in the fall, you could take this guy, hollow out a little hole in there, and let the birds actually make a nest inside it.
But perhaps the most effective way to repurpose your pumpkins is to compost it in your garden.
The winter will kind of take care of the pumpkin if you just set it somewhere where you don't mind it kind of deflating away over the winter. By next season, it'll pretty much be just mush, and it'll be nice compostable material that can work into your garden at that point.
Coming up, donkeys and basketball. An interesting combination. We're going to hear how these two came together for an exciting fundraiser.
15.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:16, almost 7:17 on this Monday morning. Taking a live look from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex in downtown Joplin. We do have some clouds out there. You can see a few more off to the north, and we're going to be partly to mostly cloudy as we go through the day today. MoDOT camera, 20th and range line in Joplin, getting some sunshine out there, but you see how the sunshine is a little muted. Well, that's because of some of those high clouds, and we got some sunshine, albeit again a bit muted, over from the KDOT camera at 69 East 520th Avenue. That, of course, just south of Pittsburgh, Kansas. Our camera, 7th and range line. You can see some of those clouds off in the horizon. 61 in Joplin. South breeze at 11. Now remember, our average high this time of year is the low 60s. So that's how much warmer we are already than what we're supposed to be. We got 54 Sedan, 56 Yates Center, 55 in Iola, 57 Neodesha Parsons, 60 in Chetopa, 63 Miami, 60 Pittsburgh Lamar, and a group of 61s, Fort Scott, Nevada, Carthage, and Neosho. And as we get our morning started, again, initially mostly clear skies, and then the clouds begin to increase as we head into the afternoon hours. And winds will increase as well as we go through the morning, gusting out of the south at around 25 miles an hour, right around 70 by 11. Heading into the afternoon, temperatures again well above normal to the tune of 10 to 15 degrees as we go mid-upper 70s across the area. Partly cloudy skies, breezy, and of course some of our friends along and west of 75 could push closer to 80, maybe even 81. First full week of November, we're talking temperatures in the 80s. That's how warm it is. Staying mild again this evening. Winds calm down a bit, though. Partly cloudy skies falling back into the low 60s for our overnight lows. We're warm again tomorrow, and we're breezy again tomorrow as we go upper 70s, near 80. And Tuesday and Wednesday, by the way, parts of southeast Kansas, again, really west of 75, could make it into the low 80s. And then we're going to get a shock to the system. We got rain chances as we head into Thursday morning, and then our temperatures are going to be much cooler, but they're going to be right where they should be. It's just going to feel a lot colder out there as they fall back low to mid 60s. Great weekend ahead of us, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And of course, our overnight lows are going to feel downright cold compared to where they've been. But again, they'll be right where they're supposed to be as we fall back in the low to mid 40s. And as we head into the start of next week, temperatures will begin to rise again, and they'll go just a pinch above average, but not significantly so. So we go back into the mid-upper 60s out there next week, and then of course we'll allow our overnight lows to warm up just a wee bit as well, going back into the upper 40s and lower 50s across the area. So do be prepared for that. Hopefully you remembered to set your clocks back an hour, because we all earned that extra hour of sleep after those 40-degree high temperatures last week, and now we're suddenly really warm, and then eventually we might experience fall for a little bit across the area, which would be a rare phenomenon here in the 4 states to get more than 2 seasons. Speaking of seasonal things, pumpkins are a common fall decoration. But what exactly do we do with them after we're done with those things? Well, Barrett Leon shares with us some ideas for our favorite orange gourds.
This whole field, this whole plot was just like full of pumpkins.
It's been a great year for John Toole and the Horticulture Research Center.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful season.
But as the chill seeps in and Halloween passes,
We started thinking about, well, what should we do with the leftover pumpkins, right?
Toole says part of their leftover crop goes toward animal enrichment at the Como Zoo. It's not an option for everyone, but the idea can be applied to any local farm or even a neighbor with chickens. Regular pumpkins can be used as a food source for squirrels, birds, and deer in your backyard. And some gourds can even double as a birdhouse.
After it's been used decoratively in the fall, you could take this guy, hollow out a little hole in there, and let the birds actually make a nest inside it.
But perhaps the most effective way to repurpose your pumpkins is to compost it in your garden.
The winter will kind of take care of the pumpkin if you just set it somewhere where you don't mind it kind of deflating away over the winter. By next season, it'll pretty much be just mush, and it'll be nice compostable material that can work into your garden at that point.
Coming up, donkeys and basketball. An interesting combination. We're going to hear how these two came together for an exciting fundraiser.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning Show on Fox 14. We have Louis Yusi and Chris Mitchell joining us in the studio to talk about the Eyes of Freedom event. Now, this is quite a unique event. Can you tell us more about it?
Yes, the event, it's sponsored by the Southeast Kansas Veteran Provider Coalition. And as Mayor of Independence, Mayor Isusi, I'm inviting all area residents to come to this event. We hope that it has a healing effect for those that have served in combat and that are still struggling with PTSD and other issues, that this memorial may bring them some comfort and some peace. And I'll let Chris describe the event.
Yes,
absolutely. You know, want to invite people to come out and see this, because it might be the first time or the last time you'll be able to get to see it, because it's the first time in Kansas, which is kind of a big deal. And if you wanted to see it again, you'd probably have to travel, you know, to another state to see it.
And can you guys describe what it is exactly that people are going to be seeing?
It is going to be life-size portraits of the soldiers that lost their lives during combat in Iraq.
Excellent. And how is this different than, say, the Vietnam Memorial Wall that's pretty famous in D.C.?
It's similar in nature, but this is from that period of the war on terror that we were fighting in Iraq. And this was a huge amount of casualties for this National Guard, Marine National Guard unit in Iraq. They lost 23 members in a time period from May to September. And this Anita Miller, who is the artist of these panels and this sculpture, Silent Battle, she saw the pictures of the soldiers, and she had a vision, and her vision was she was going to recreate these life-size panels that depict these actual soldiers that had lost their lives in Iraq. And then she came up with the sculpture entitled Silent Battle, and Chris could explain more about that.
Yeah, a lot of soldiers suffer PTSD. They suffer that survivor's guilt because they may have been one or just a few that survived from a casualty. And, you know, and the military is a very family-like unit, you know, and to come home and you've lost your buddies and they didn't make it, that's got to be some serious guilt to deal with. And so the silent battle, I understand that everyone that has had that happen to them, that when they see that, they know immediately what it is, and it depicts a soldier looking through dog tags.
Beautiful. And where is this happening at, and how can people attend?
It's going to be held in Independence, and it's going to be at Memorial Hall, which is so fitting because that's where all the veteran celebrations happen. And I could not believe that we got it on Veterans Week.
That's so special, right?
Isn't it, though?
Oh, I love that. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming. It's a great cause. Make sure you at home go check out this amazing event happening.
We tell them that is at 410 North Penn in Independence is the address.
All right. Thank you. And we'll be right back with more news after this.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. The time now is 7:30 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. Kansas City Chiefs fans had the opportunity to watch the game while enjoying some breakfast yesterday morning. Jasper, Newton, and Barton County Police Departments hosted a pancake fundraiser to raise money for their communities.
Some of the things our lodge supports, like the Shop with a Cop, or we help officers when they're in need, when some tragedy strikes an officer, or our Explorer program, or various other programs that the Fraternal Order of Police help support.
The event was open to the public and was all you can eat for $10. Commerce, Oklahoma Police and Fire hosted donkey basketball in Miami Saturday and invited some rivals across the state line, Seneca, Missouri Police and Fire. The purpose of the event was to raise money for the Commerce Police Department to purchase new equipment. The rules may be simple, but controlling your donkey is not. Some students from Commerce High Band also played. In the final game of the night, Seneca was the winner, 4-2. American Legion Post 13 salutes veterans in Peace Church Cemetery. Saturday, the American Legion Post 13 invited Joplin residents to join them at Peace Church Cemetery to pay respect to those who served our country. There was a 21-gun salute, set flags, and play taps. The event is in honor of Veterans Day on November 11th.
My favorite part is just being able to honor those men that have gone before us for the work that they did while they were in the military to keep us free and a free nation. And hopefully the military that's out there existing today, that they will continue to keep us a free nation.
The American Legion Post 13 will also be honoring Veterans Day in the Veterans Day Parade this Saturday. The annual Bark Ranger event took place Saturday at Fort Scott Historical Site. Bark Ranger was established by the National Park Service to teach responsible pet ethics for national parks and public spaces. They partnered with a shelter called Paws and Claws to provide free nail trimmings, microchip services, vaccines, and more.
Fort Scott has a lot of problems with animals running away, animals being lost or abandoned, and so this was a way for us to give back and help get some animals adopted.
We're filling some needs, so maybe people who can't necessarily afford to get their animals vaccinated, we're providing that service at a lower cost today so that we can keep the pets healthy and hopefully help keep pets in homes where they are cared for.
In addition, the Bark Ranger event partnered with Fort Scott High School to sell homemade dog treats. The Freeman Health Systems Ozark Center hosted the 10th annual Clays for a Cause in Wyandotte, Oklahoma yesterday to raise funds for the Bill and Virginia Leffernan Center for Autism. The Clay sporting tournament was open to both 4-person teams and individual shooters with an entry fee of $100.
Just getting to know the people who come to shoot because they're very good people, and it's unusual maybe for them to get the opportunity to do what they really enjoy doing and do it for a group of people that they might never meet, but they probably are related to in some way, and that's families that have been impacted by autism.
Teams won cash prizes, and the top individual shooter won a $1,000 cash prize. Saturday, the Joplin Polar Plunge event, dubbed Reason for Freezin', took place at Shoal Creek, where participants took a plunge to support Special Olympics Missouri. The event, hosted by Joplin and Carthage Police Departments, was disco-themed, and those in attendance sported their best disco-inspired costumes and swimwear.
The Polar Plunge is, we have people that register to plunge with us. They raise $75 in support of Special Olympics Missouri, and then they come out and they get in these very cold waters and they take the plunge.
We volunteered with Missouri Southern Softball to come out and be with everyone today for this awesome event.
The event was open to anyone 10 years or older, and every participant was required to raise a minimum of $75. This year's fundraising goal was $12,000. Residents in McCune, Kansas Saturday were able to get a head start on Christmas shopping with a Christmas bazaar. The event gives small businesses an opportunity to sell their products and interact with the community. Some vendors served food and others sold things such as tumblers, towels, and cutting boards.
I really like getting to see the variety of what a small community can bring forth and getting to support like the local small businesses and crafters and just having that time to converse with people as well.
And Cora and I wanted to find something to do, and it happened to be chocolate.
But chocolate's really hard to work with.
Chocolate is hard to work with. There is definitely a learning curve there, isn't there? Yep.
The event also featured a raffle of various prizes such as ornaments and blankets.
Well, we've got another above average day for us and breezy day. Quick look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. No precipitation across the area. Had some clouds rolling through this morning. We have more clouds on the way out there, so we're looking at partly to mostly cloudy skies for us. Right now, though, looking pretty good from MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line in Joplin. We got the sunshine. We've got mostly clear skies out there. Again, clouds will start to increase a little later. We are looking at well above average highs. Highs, by the way, about 10 to 15 degrees above where they're supposed to be. Mid-upper 70s out there, and that wind out of the south gusting upwards of 25 miles an hour. We'll have another full look at your forecast, including when we return to normal here in just a moment.
And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A police officer risks his life to save a dog. More on that story after this.
And those normal temperatures will make a return to the forecast. We'll have another look at that when we come back. Well, a pair of heroic cops braving icy waters to protect and serve a defenseless blind dog in danger of drowning. And the whole thing is caught on body cam. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
Watch brave New York cops wade into frigid waters to save a blind dog stuck in a freezing pond. Come on, NYPD officers responded after receiving reports of a dog spotted drowning in a Queens pond. After the officer made his way into the icy waters, he found Sparky, an 8-year-old blind border collie immobilized in the tall weeds. You can hear the poor pup moaning as the officer pulls him to safety, and the ice-cold cop is making distressed noises of his own. The pair make it out of the frigid waters and back to dry land.
Can't feel anything.
The officers get the blind pooch covered and settled in a warm car.
Less of heat.
NYPD says Sparky was later reunited with his owners. Well, with Halloween in the rear view, what to do with all those pumpkins? Well, why not blow them up? That's what middle school teacher Wade Curran is doing in the name of science. This North Dakota teacher is using the decaying decorations to teach his science students about chemical reactions. He loads the pumpkins with calcium carbide and water to create calcium hydroxide, and then, boom.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
It's a chemical reaction that gets a reaction from his students.
Sometimes it's okay to take a break from what we're teaching and do something kind of cool, something different, and show them that science can be a lot of fun.
Who needs smashing pumpkins when exploding pumpkins are music to the students' ears? You see, kids, Smashing Pumpkins was a band in the 90s that, you know what, forget it. I'm so old. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Jeremy, you're only as old as you feel. I still enjoy a good Smashing Pumpkins song once in a while. And it's so weird that I say that. It's just not something I ever pictured myself saying, that I enjoy Smashing Pumpkins. All right. So did the kids, by the way. Coming up, an Army veteran gets a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity ahead of Veterans Day thanks to Operation Surprise. We've got that story, and we've been teasing you about the weather for a little bit here. We are talking about warmer temperatures followed by a significant return to normal. We'll have all of that in your forecast coming up. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News 743 now on this Monday morning, and we've got a beautiful start to the day. We've got sunshine. We have a few clouds here and there. We will have more of those as the day goes on. Sitting at 61 in Joplin right now with a south breeze about 11 miles an hour, and the winds are going to pick up as well. A little cooler out west, 55 Yates Center, Sedan, Iola, 58 Chanute, 57 Neodesha Parsons, 61s, lots of those, Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, Lamar, Nevada, Carthage, Neosho, and 63 in Miami, Grove, and Anderson as we get our day underway. We'll see the winds pick up again out of the south, gusting upwards of 25 miles an hour. And again, mostly clear skies to start, increasing clouds a little later today. We're going to go right around 70 by 11 o'clock this morning. Heading into the afternoon, we're looking at highs well above average to the tune of 10 to 15 degrees as we go mid-upper 70s, and some of us in southeast Kansas could even reach right around 80 degrees. Partly cloudy to mostly cloudy and breezy across the area. Winds calm down this evening. We're partly cloudy and again well above average as we fall back into the low 60s out there. However, average is about to make a return, but not for the next couple of days. Breezy, warm tomorrow, upper 70s Wednesday as well. And between Tuesday and Wednesday, those of you along and west of 75 could even reach the low 80s. Low 80s in November. Yeah, that's how far above average we are. Rain, though, Thursday morning, and that system puts us back where we're supposed to be, into the low to mid 60s. But it's going to be a bit of a shock as we drop back into the 60s compared to how warm we're going to be right ahead of that. That also means our overnight lows are going to be a bit on the cold side as they fall back to normal as well, back into the 40s. We go a little warmer heading into next week, but not too much in the mid-upper 60s, and our overnight lows follow suit, upper 40s, low 50s. That's a quick check of your forecast. Now, here's Caitlin with Consumer Watch.
Thanks, Chris. Well, more than 4,000 baby loungers sold on Amazon are being recalled over suffocation risks. The Safety Product Safety Commission says that certain YOOCAA baby loungers don't meet safety requirements, which includes not having a stand and failing to meet side height requirements. The CPSC says that the product can seat and create an unsafe sleeping environment for babies because of the potential for entrapment and suffocation risks. The recall covers YOOCAA baby loungers that are purchased on or after June 23, 2022. No injuries have been reported so far. CPSC says consumers should immediately stop using the loungers and contact UCA for a full refund. That one chore you always were nagged to do as a kid could snag you a gem of a prize to do it again. The Shane Company of Fine Jewelers is raising civic responsibility by offering someone $1,000 to make their bed every day for a month and explain its effect on their life. The company says you can journal, jot notes, do a video log, whatever you feel, as long as they provide insight on how the small task impacts your overall feelings. BetterSleep.com says making your bed betters your mood, your sleep, and your productivity. December 8th is the deadline for contest entries. And there's a new artificial intelligence bot in town. Elon Musk is releasing a competitor to ChatGPT and other AI bots calling Grok. It's the first debut from Musk's new startup company, XAI. In a statement, the company says Grok will answer all the spicy questions with a side of wit. Musk claims that Grok has more up-to-date information compared to rival GPT, but his company says Grok still has the potential to generate false or contradictory information at times. The prototype is currently only available to select users to test it out. And we'll be right back with more after this, but first let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. The Home Depot Foundation is charging a veteran's life in Arizona. It's changing a veteran's life in Arizona, not charging.
It's Monday,
by
man.
tackling a long list of home improvement projects.
Several Home Depot employees were on hand to help. It is Monday, isn't it? Fox's Desiree Fluellen takes us there to learn more.
Nearly 100 Home Depot employees are helping veteran Zachary Ferroni tackle a long list of home improvement projects.
Life-changing.
Oh, it's wonderful, yeah.
It is life-changing.
It's part of the Home Depot Foundation's annual Operation Surprise ahead of Veterans Day.
You have all these members from the community coming out to help me, and it just is really nice to be able to wake up and see all these wonderful people here.
We are out here giving back to veterans. We are organizing the garage, putting in new shelving, repairing the fence, re-landscaping the entire home, painting.
Zachary served our country in the Army from 2003 to 2012, deployed to Afghanistan, now home struggling with PTSD. His husband Joe is the only one able to work.
Being a one-income household, it's hard for them to keep up. Before I even bought this house, I don't know, I wouldn't have thought any of this would have been happening. It's insane. I love it.
Home Depot store manager George Page says Zachary hand-selected the paint choice.
The paint is dark pewter and the trim is skinny jeans.
Bluish gray?
Myself, and I really enjoy it.
So aside from all of the work being done to the house today, Zachary and Joseph are also being surprised with a new washer and dryer and their mortgage payment for December.
That's absolutely incredible.
I
always
that.
love when places come together like that to help those in need and especially to help our veterans.
Yeah, right? And the house looked great, too.
It did. It looked fantastic. And our forecast looking pretty fantastic over the next couple of days. If you're a fan of the warm weather, quick look outside from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex downtown Joplin. We got some high clouds out there, and we'll have more of those clouds as the day progresses. MoDOT camera 20th in range line showing some blue skies off to the direction it's looking. But again, a few more clouds are expected a little later today. We're at 61 in Joplin, 61 in Pittsburgh with that sunshine. And remember, our average highs this time of year are supposed to be in the low 60s. So we're going to be well above average to the tune of 10 to 15 degrees as we go into the mid, even upper 70s across the area. We also have that breezy south wind gusting upwards of 25 miles an hour. So be aware of that. We'll go partly, maybe even mostly cloudy skies for some of us as we head into the afternoon hours across the area. Our temperatures are eventually going to return to normal, and they're going to do so this week. We'll have a look at that forecast for you and the news you need to know right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. 2 people are dead after being hit by a train on a truss-line bridge in Jasper County. It happened around 2:15 yesterday afternoon on the bridge over Center Creek. Authorities say the train saw the 2 men, 24-year-old Dakota Bittner and 39-year-old Terry Long, and blew its horn to warn them before hitting them. Bittner and Long are both from the local area. Authorities respond to a crash at the intersection of Highway 69 and 4th Street in Pittsburgh. The crash occurred around 5 p.m. Saturday when a vehicle was crossing the four-way intersection. Another driver in a separate vehicle ran a red light and collided with the oncoming vehicle, causing it to overturn. Authorities say there were no serious injuries. And Chanute High School's band and student government held a mattress fundraiser. Custom Fundraising Solutions of Wichita provided the mattresses, and proceeds are split between the 2 departments based on student shout-outs from visitors. The band plans to use the money to buy and repair equipment, while the government will use the money to host school-wide events.
And we've got another above average day, highs mid upper 70s, partly to mostly cloudy skies, gusty south winds at about 25. Mild through the evening, winds calm down, partly cloudy, and we'll go back into the low 60s. We're still warm tomorrow, upper 70s Tuesday, Wednesday breezy on Tuesday. Some of our friends in Kansas, especially west of 75, could even make the lower 80s. Then we get some morning rain on Thursday. That kicks our temperatures back down to normal as we fall back into low to mid 60s. Got another beautiful weekend ahead of us, but also be aware as our daytime highs fall, it means our overnight lows will fall back to normal, and that means it's going to be pretty darn chilly as we start the next few days falling back into the 40s.
All right, well, X marks the spot, but the treasure's not on the ground, it's overhead, and NASA helps you find it.
Okay, well, I don't see any, but see, NASA, there it is, look. It's releasing a new app to help fans find the International Space Station as it streaks across the sky. That's pretty cool. The new app is called Spot the Station.
Hey.
NASA says its new app features augmented reality to make it easier to locate the ISS.
It also has options for picture and video sharing when you spot it in real time. The new app improves NASA's already existing Spot the Station website. It is available on iOS and Android devices and comes in time to celebrate the International Space Station's 25th anniversary.
So make sure you download the app, go outside and look for it.
How fun, right?
It should be.
Presuming
it's near you, though. You
is.
got to be looking in the right spot, I suppose. Oh, well, thank you all so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We will be back with more news and weather today at 12 noon.
Have a great rest of your day, 4 States.